Okay, good day to all of my friends. Again, with you, Bob Zoma Masaldikov. And with this video, I'm going to continue my previous lessons reading, about reading and some tips related to the reading section. And my friends, it is very essential part. It is very essential part of reading that which states that you have to be aware of the topic that you are reading. That means you need to have kind of atmosphere in your mind, or let's say kind of thinking or thoughts about the topic. If you don't know the topic, or at least if you cannot imagine the topic, it would be a bit difficult for you to work out on this reading. So I recommend you, I suggest that it would be better for you to read through different types of topics. For example, previous lesson we looked at the topic about the logging or deforestation, right? And with this video, my friends, I'm going to let's say to get to know about the bird migration. And with this topic, I'm going to introduce you. I'm going to teach you a new words related to the topic, and also I'm going to give some hints and tips about the reading and how to find the exact parts and when you are doing true, false, not given. It would be very essential and rudimentary for your reading, and to know the words and to know the technique. If you know the words, if you don't know the technique, that means it would be somehow difficult, my friends. Anyway, you will have difficulties, right? You struggle to find the answers even though you understand the topic. If you don't know the technique, of course it leads you astray. That means it would be a bit hard and a bit tough to work out the reading. So my friends, let's start with this part. As you can see here, some words related to bird migration, and the birds are very amazing, fascinating, captivating creatures. And when you look at the birds, and I think not all of us can imagine that the birds can really fly or not. And when you look at the birds and when you check at the birds carefully, of course you will notice that the birds are flying the sky without any kind of propellers, or without any kind of, let's say, wings. Of course they have got wings, but they are not technologically advanced. That some centuries ago, let's say, from the moment that our first ancestors were created, birds have been still flying over the sky non-stop, and they have got the ability. And you think about this one, and if you compare the birds with kind of technological advanced, let's say, airplanes. Of course the airplanes have got the engines, right? They have got the kind of the locomotive that can hold this airplane high up in the sky, right? It's not a secret. What about the birds? The birds, they have got kind of knowledge how to fly, right? And they always they have got kind of wings. Through the wings they can easily let's say take off the ground. It's not a problem for them because of the knowledge they have got in their mind. They have got this little brain, my friends, but though they can fly easily, right? They can fly easily. Looking at the birds, people copied the style of flying and invented different kind of flying objects over the sky. So my friends, another interesting point about the birds. They choose different kind of places, areas, and habitats to breed and to live. For example, in some cases, if the birds and some types of birds, let's say, breed in warmer places, some birds stay in the colder and the freezing atmosphere, right? In both conditions, birds can, let's say, breed and can, let's say, have a number of generations after them. That means that the different birds have different kind of living habits. So my friends, let's look at the words from the first one, and I'm going to provide you the 20 words related to the topic. The first word, aspect. Aspect, that means it's kind of feature that somebody or something has got a part or something. And for example, you can ask what what kind of aspects of IELTS examination may you find it difficult? You can answer like this: the speaking section, or listening, or reading, or writing. Right? Most people find the writing very difficult, so right. And the next one is, that means that, and as you look through these words, my friends, it is you will be required to match the words with definitions on the right side. For example, aspect, the meaning aspect is close to the meaning part and feature. Let me look at D1, and you can easily find this word, the part and feature. That means aspect, it is D. And breed, that means reproduce, right? Breeding. And for example, then you can use the collocation breeding season, right? It's in the moment that the most let's say living creatures can reproduce. That means reproduction or reproduce, the synonym of this word, L. And next one is diurnal. Diurnal, that means related to the daytime, right? For example, a lot of people, and we can call the people diurnal. Why? Because they work during the time, and because of technology, because of working shifts, and now people are working in a night shift, and people are working at night too. But we call them in different terms. And diurnal, that means related to the daytime. That means the people or the kind of living creatures are active during the day, and you have to find this one. And it's very easy. If you're looking at this video, my friends, you can easily check out the meanings and definitions. If you have got the copybook, my friends, I advise you to write down all these necessary words. Exactly, my friends, 85% you come across these words while you are doing the reading. I hope you will learn this one. And next, let's move to the next word. It's called endure. You know, endurance, endure. That means it's called what? To stay in one's state without any hardships. That means to continue your current position even if you come across any kind of blocks or barriers, right? Even if you face up some hardships, hassles, right? It's called endure. Okay, to continue in the current state without any difficulty. Of course, you suffer, but without not paying attention to suffering, or let's say facing the suffering, you have to continue. This state is called endure. And here you can easily find the meanings of this one. And this one, it can be what? Live under difficult conditions. Okay. And next one is evolve. Evolution, revolution, and you know this word is close to improvement, but the improvement is slow, and gradual improvement, or development and develop gradually. Okay, evolve and develop gradually, or improvement. And you can easily find the synonyms. And fascinate, this is a word. Fascinate, that means amaze somebody, shock somebody, right? Give somebody a shock, give somebody a kind of feeling that they are impressed with something. It's called fascinate. Okay. And as you look through the new words, my friends, you have to make a kind of sentence in your mind. It's a very priority to learn the vocabulary. This is also one tip for you. And fit, that means I know, my friends, all of you listen to music, and all of you may have let's say have seen this word while you are listening to music, and the short of this word is FT. FT, you know that feat, it is very successful, or achievement, you can say. Success, achievement, the synonym of the feat. And fuel, kind of energy that let's say, and kind of energy can help you to continue your way. Okay, energy, or fuel can be a verb, and to provide the energy. And it's and this is my opinion, it's G, my friends. If you have got the internet, or if you have got dictionary, you can easily check this one. And hemisphere, sphere, that you know the sphere is related to our land and to our Earth planet. Sphere, it's called a circle, circular, let's say, motion, right? Sphere. And hemi, in this means it's called what? The half or part of something, and the part of something, or 50 and 50. That means hemisphere, that means the part of the sphere, that means part of the Earth. That means Earth has got different kind of sphere, and our Earth is divided into two different spheres. Okay, it's called hemisphere. And imperative, Imperative, my friend, it means a very essential aspect, okay, or rudimentary, or necessary, or needful, kind of synonyms of this word imperative. And can be a priority or urgent need, okay. And next one is inhabit. Inhabit, that means live in some kind of place or reside, right? You know, a lot of penguins inhabit in the northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere, where the air condition is very low or under zero temperature, okay. And inhabit or living. And migration, that means of moving from one place to another place, okay, migration. And navigation, you know the word navigate, and navigate, that means look at somebody to find information, navigate, or to find a place or to locate the place, it's called navigation. And the most telephones have got navigation application while they're traveling around the, not around the world, around their cities. They always switch on their navigation on the telephone, and they place and they write the names of the place, and they can, in order to find the place easily. And you can see on your application, navigational application, and how long or how far you have to drive to reach your destination, and the different kind of names on this application. It's very useful. And navigation is also related to birds, because birds have got navigational let's say skills. They also navigate the place that they have left, or they left previous season, right? This is called navigation. And nocturnal, my friends, it means very active at night. All right, they look at the places or where their nests, or looking at the stars. They've got such kind of ability. They can read and interpret the stars. Looking the position of stars, they can easily find the places and the nests or their home. Nocturnal and active at night. And observer, that means a person or kind of thing that can easily and that look through or watch somebody. Or observer, or the person who can take care of somebody, observer. And most people can be called observers if they are looking at something or watching or checking somebody or something, okay, observer. And next one is observer, and you can easily find, my friends, and I don't have the time, and then I don't have the time to map these words, but that I'm providing definitions. Now, so my friends, don't bother that I'm very fast. You can rewatch this video, and you can easily pause this video and write down the new words. It's not a problem for you. And the obscure, obscure, it's also advanced or C1 vocabulary. It helps you to obscure means that let's say prevent, okay, make something dark or close somebody's eyes, okay, it can be. And make something difficult to see is also obscure, okay. And optimal, that means the best moment, okay, or the best or most favorable condition, optimal condition to live. For example, for a student, the optimal condition to live is the flats or hostels. Why? Because they are always engaged in their homework, right? And doing kind of tutorials. It's very essential. And species, that means kind of living creatures. Species, different types of things. Species, okay. And species, let me try to find these words, my friends. Here it's given a basic group in the biological classification, okay, biological classification, it's called species. And three, my friends, my favorite, the most favorite word of any kind of among any kind of vocabulary is stray. Stray, that means leaving the correct path, right, or choosing the wrong way. It's called a stray, okay. Or for people who are in the wrong ways, they can say they are straight, but it's very common to use for people who are moving from the right way to another way. That's why the stray is very my favorite word, because if people understand the meaning of the life, they always and or they don't get the meaning of the life, or they cannot reach their destination, the destination or goals, or let's say aims that they wanted. And it's very easy for them to stray their own path and to move, and or to choose or swindle people, or cheat them, plagiarize them, and or let's say take their money, or illegally, or in different ways. Well, stray. And windswept, you can see the word consists of two. Let me change this one. The wind and sweep. You know the word sweep? Sweep, that means close the earth, close the ground from, or sorry, sweep, that means clear, clean the, or tidy the place, right, with broom, or with mop, or mopping, brooming, right. Wind swept, that means vulnerable to the wind. And if something is called a wind swept, that means this thing is very vulnerable to the wind, and they will easily get destroyed, or collapse, or demolish it with the wind. So my friends, let's move to the reading part. My friends, I'm going to teach you some let's say hints about this reading. And our task, as I told you, and as I have been telling you, that it's not important, it is very essential not to start from the reading passage. Anyway, you may not understand the whole text, my friends. So my advice is, look at the questions directly, or at the the time you open the let's say answer or reading paper. Do not look the title. You can look the title. Okay, I advise you to look at the title, and somehow you will have the understanding of the topic, what kind of topic will be in. And but after finishing reading the title, getting the meaning, please, and I highly encourage and motivate you to look at the question parts. Do not look at the reading, because the reading can be difficult, and this difficulty can let's say stay, or it can enter your mind, and you may stop, let's say working out on the questions. Okay, and the first, let's look true, false, not given. About these types of questions, my friend, true and false, they are given in the text 100%. They are matchable, suitable, and you can easily find and locate the place in the reading. But one thing you have to remember, my friends, it's very essential that you should understand the not given, my friends. You should understand the difference between not given and true. I will give you one example, and this is just an example. And for example, if I say London is famous city, right? Then imagine this sentence is given in the text, and in the question says, London is the most famous, the most popular city or town throughout the world. As you can see, London both in the text, both in the text and in the question, London is provided, and popular and famous provided, and throughout the world, in the world provided. But one thing is not given in the text: the most. That means superlative adjective is not provided in the text. That means it is not given. Don't forget this one. Okay, it is not given. And what about true and false? True, that means you can only get the synonyms. You can only find the synonyms, and the matching is 100%. What about false? False is the opposite. And for example, good, bad, right? Not provided, not also can refer to false. Okay, very easy. True and false can be easily found, but not given. And true, you can also you can easily make mistakes with this one. And let's look at the question, my friend, from 1 to 4. Very easy. Now, for me, very easy to do this task, my friend, because I have been looking through the true, false, not given question for many years. At least I know that some experts have been working on this kind of test for 10 years or 40 years. Means 30 years for me, and the 3 and 4 years is big, to be honest. Okay, let's start with this one. Transquatorial birds cross from one hemisphere to the other when they migrate. My friends, look at these keywords. Transquatorial That means it's very difficult to find a synonym. That means transequatorial and the word is given exactly in the text. And the one hemisphere to another one, and when they migrate, that means when they migrate, they cross the borders, right? They cross from one place to another place, not a place, hemisphere, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. Now I'm going to underline the necessary words and keywords. Transequatorial, one hemisphere to another one to other hemisphere, they migrate. And what am I going to do? As usual, as a rule, I'm not going to start from the middle of the passage. No, I'm not going to start from the back of the passage. No, I'm going to start from the beginning, and I'm looking. And another point, my friends, do not read other questions. Do not read question 2. Do not read question 3. Do not read question 4. No, read the question 1 and try to answer the questions with 100% exactness. Okay, you should let's say dart the target without any mistake, without missing. Okay, let's go. Transequatorial, let me find this word, grass breeding animals, and I'm going to read in this way. That means one line, one attempt, no word. And transequatorial not given here, and transequatorial no, spread out also possible ecological. And then this one I'm going to read the 2 lines at once, at one attempt. And here we can see migration given, and now 3 lines and 1 attempt. And here you can see the word transequatorial, living in the northern hemisphere during the breeding season and in the southern hemisphere during the remainder of the year. That means exactly they migrate from one place to another one, and they choose to live in the northern hemisphere in the time for breeding, and for other part of the rest of the year they spend their time in the southern hemisphere. That means it is 100% match. That means the sentence is 100% true. You can write down here true. Next one is many migratory birds breed in the southern hemisphere. Many migratory birds, let me highlight this one, highlight, in the southern hemisphere, highlight. And again, don't read this question 3 and don't read the question 4. No, stop here and look at the text. Look at the reading. Where did I stop? I stopped here, right? And here, living in the northern hemisphere during breeding season and during the rest of the year. And the question but is vice versa, the opposite, and it says northern hemisphere in the text but southern hemisphere in the question. Many migratory birds breed in the southern hemisphere. That means it is false, because they breed according to sex, my friends. Here, and let me underline this part, and here what about this one? Let me underline this part too. In the middle I couldn't underline this one. I'm sorry for this sketch, sorry. I'm going to go back. What about this one? Let me highlight. No, I'm sorry, I couldn't do this one. Anyway, you understood me. And here northern hemisphere is given. See, northern hemisphere line. Again, I couldn't do. I wasn't able to do this. Okay, living in the northern hemisphere during the breeding season, that means it is according to the it's northern, but according to the question it says southern. That's why it is false. Right here, false. Second one is false. And migrating birds. Let's look at this one. Let me underline, highlight. Remember, spend 1 month. Let me highlight, not underline, right? Highlight is better. Where conditions for breeding are optimal. Again, it's about what? Breeding and condition the places.